Well, I think it's a fun venture that you're doing just to
Yeah,
learn more about people.
exactly. And the real goal is to provide value to everyone else as well. It's like
Yeah.
you never know, like
What hits with someone else? What
exactly,
might resonate with someone else?
exactly. All right, let's see if I can get this intro perfectly all
Okay.
in one go. Hmm. All right. Final adjustment. Welcome one, welcome all. You're listening to Care2Talk, episode 4. Joining me today is my good friend and colleague, Jill Andros. Thank you so much for taking the time to, come and sit down with me. I can only imagine, mother of 7 and personal trainer, Group X instructor, philanthropist, volunteer, with all the other things that you do. Did I miss any other titles
No,
here?
you got most of them.
How do you, my first question is, how do you in the world manage and prioritize, all the things that you do? Like, what's the time management of all of that look like? Do you always carry a calendar around with you? Or
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh,
just,
yeah. I keep a calendar on my phone. I have to write everything down.
okay.
I think for me, it's sometimes, I think someone once said that sometimes your strengths are your weaknesses. I'm very good at planning ahead and I don't procrastinate almost to a fault that, if I have a free afternoon, I'm just planning for the next thing that I have rather than sometimes just enjoying the free afternoon. But I'm very, very good about planning ahead.
Compartmentalizing and staying
Yes, I have
productive.
lists for everything and I like yes, the beginning of every week Sunday I sit down and I write everything my kids have, everything I've got, coordinating everything, and I've always got it on my phone. And so yes, it takes a lot of thinking ahead.
Wow, yeah, I like what you said about the strengths being your weaknesses. I've also heard people say your weaknesses can be your strengths.
That's actually true, yeah.
Very cool insight
I
there.
plan a lot almost to a fault, but hey,
Hey, it's better than not planning at all or
right,
not being organized at all.
right.
On the outside looking in, especially from my perspective, one could say you're fairly successful. Obviously, most people, don't see all the hard work and the sacrifice that goes into, the end product of
Mhm.
being able to raise 7 kids, being able to be so good at, the job that you do and helping so many clients that you do with training. Just to kind of like take a sneak peek under the hood, so to speak, of all that, you know, the trials and tribulations you've gone through, would you say raising 7 kids is the hardest thing you've done in life? Or what's like the most challenging, if you care to share, the most challenging trial you've gone through in life? What was the biggest hurdle you've had to overcome, so to speak?
Okay, I would definitely say raising 7 kids is the hardest thing by far.
Wow.
But I kind of, that, to me, that goes hand in hand with just also trying to live with integrity, I guess. Like be my best, show up as my best version of myself every day for the people I love. And so to me, those two things are together because showing up as my best version of myself every day for the people I love is what makes raising 7 kids really hard because they don't always show up with their best selves either, right? And so, yeah, I would definitely say the sacrifice of, I didn't plan to be a personal trainer. I was getting a master's degree in history
Oh, wow.
when I decided to get married, and I planned to go on for a PhD and be a history professor. That was the
No
life goal.
kidding.
Yeah. And
Where'd you go to school for that?
I went to school in Utah at
Okay.
BYU.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Utah's gorgeous.
It's the national parks there, the hiking. Oh
It's
my
favorite
gosh.
state.
It's something else.
I've been to 3 out of 5 of them.
Which
The main
3?
ones. The Arches. I've been to natural bridges.
Yeah.
And then
Zion's
no, I
or
haven't been to
Bryce?
Zion or Bryce, but
Oh, Bryce.
Canyonlands.
Oh, Canyonlands.
Zion and Bryce, I just couldn't make it to
Oh,
it.
Bryce, I might be my favorite.
too many potholes.
Yeah.
But out of the 3 I went to, Arches was amazing.
Arches is
Oh
really
my
cool.
goodness. Natural Bridges was really cool, and I really liked how secluded Canyonlands
Yeah.
was. The most secluded
Stargazing
park
there, yeah.
in the country.
Yeah, it's fun. But anyway, yes, so you could say I sacrificed that career for kids, but I don't feel like that was a sacrifice because the second I had that first baby, I was hooked. Like, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I just loved those little babies, just loved having kids. So I don't feel like I sacrificed anything there. Yes, having 7 babies in and of itself is a sacrifice, the toll it takes on your body and your sleep and your mind and everything. But I have loved that. It's just a lot of work to just try and be good at it, you know?
That's a lot right there to unpack. Talk. I definitely want to dive into a lot more of the family questions. That's where the real butter is. But what about the thing about the history? Did you have like a favorite type of history? Was it American or?
Yeah, my thesis was it was kind of like 19th century American West, like the cowboys and the pioneer, you know, Native Americans, cowboy, all that stuff. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was fun. I kind of felt like I was born in the wrong era and I was meant to be born, you know, just
I
back
kind of
then.
shared that, you know, the think about the cool things that, you know, especially without the technology and just like all the distractions we have nowadays. And back then was so much more simpler. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very fascinating, the history. Do you have like a favorite history fact that you could share?
I don't know that I have a favorite history fact. I think what I liked about it was a little bit of both with Native Americans and even the settlers who came, kind of like their love of the land, like they're tied to the land. Like more so I'd say with the Native Americans, but feeling like that grounded feeling to the earth sort of, and appreciation for the land. I don't know. I just feel like I have a lot of appreciation for nature and just kind of, I don't know, when my hands are in the dirt gardening or something, and there's something just therapeutic about that. And I just, you know, how people really felt tied to their land somehow. I don't know, that intrigued me.
They definitely have a lot more respect for their land than
Yeah,
some of
it
the
meant
Americans
something.
do.
It really meant something, yeah.
I love Native American culture. I definitely wish I knew more about it. Maybe I can learn a couple cool facts from you later.
Yeah.
But
It was a long time ago. I've forgotten most of it,
but still, it was really cool. And then you went to school in Utah. Were you born in Utah?
No, I was born in California. I mostly lived I grew up mostly in the Seattle area.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What brought you all the way to Massachusetts? Was it true love?
Yeah, actually, because after I got married, we lived in Phoenix. I've lived kind of all over. We lived in Phoenix for a little while, and then my husband got a job here in Massachusetts. And we thought we'd be here for 3 or 4 years because my family's still out west and his family's in the DC area. We thought we'll do 3 or 4 years here, but we've loved raising our family here. It's home to our kids, so it's become home to us.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Phoenix, did you ever go to Flagstaff,
Yeah.
Arizona? Oh.
Yeah, that's beautiful
Do you
too.
hike,
We didn't get much hiking in there, but
that's Flagstaff has the biggest mountain in Arizona.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hiked up there, and it's actually an active volcano.
Oh, really? Is
From
it?
the top, you can see the southern west
Of
rim
the
of the
Grand Canyon, yeah.
And not too far from there, about 50 miles from there, there's the biggest meteor crater in America.
Oh, we never did go see that.
Next time you're out there, if you're ever out there, you gotta go. 'Cause
Okay.
It shrinks, it erodes an inch every
Oh,
year.
so it's getting smaller.
But it is the world's largest, most preserved meteor
Crater.
right in America.
Huh,
It is so
cool.
cool. You can touch the actual meteorite. It's
Wow.
like this big, and it's so cool.
Huh, okay, next
and there's
time.
like tours, they do a whole movie, and like you can buy
I don't know
one.
how we missed it.
Yeah, it's so cool. It is so cool. But yeah, Arizona, Utah, that whole area.
I'm kind of a Western girl at heart, but I really have come to love this area.
Yeah, New England, you get the 4 seasons.
Yeah.
We have a lot going on here.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not in this state particular, but it's.
No, we do. Yeah. And you can get to anywhere in a couple hours. Anywhere cool. Yeah.
Exactly. I like it too. But traveling, I will go out west all the time, anytime. That is the best. So yeah, you went to school in in college in Utah and high school in California, or
No, that was Seattle. I grew
okay,
up in Seattle, yeah.
okay. Did you have like I know you love here because raising the kids. Do you have like a favorite place you ever lived? Like,
Favorite place I've ever lived? Honestly, it might be here.
wow.
Not the winters, but I think if I had to go back to that rain in Seattle, it would drive me crazy.
Mm.
And if I had to go back to that heat in Phoenix, it would drive me crazy. So it might be here.
You get the best of both worlds here. Not too much of any, not too long for any.
Right.
know,
I have never been to Colorado, but that's been the place that I always think if I could pick a state to live in, it might be Colorado. I don't know, because I've never been there. Maybe not.
Definitely check out Colorado Springs. I actually lived in Colorado myself.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Air Force brat, so I moved.
Oh, okay.
And so, Garden of the Gods, Denver, Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
There's so many. I actually hiked the highest mountain in Colorado, in Leadville, Colorado. It's super gorgeous, Mount Elbert.
Okay.
And they just have so much there, so much to offer. A lot of mountain lions, though. Definitely.
Oh, really?
Hiking.
Okay. Good to know.
I had my dad's coworker. He was like in the Air Force, and my dad's coworker was hiking with his dog, and a mountain lion came and snatched up his dog, and it was
Oh,
super
how
tragic,
sad.
but
Oh.
it's bad. They get like mountain lions in people's backyards.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe not.
I know. But to visit, you should
Yeah,
definitely check
okay.
it out. It is so gorgeous, so worth it. Just bring some bear spray
Okay.
and make loud noises when you're talking. And
Noted.
you'll be good. You'll be good. But yeah, so and then I'm sure many watching love a good romance story. And so, how did you quite meet? Like, was it in college?
We met in college, and I was actually only a sophomore when we met. And we dated for, like, it was kind of a spring fling. It was the end of the semester, and we were all going home for the summer. And so we went home from the summer. We kind of stayed in touch, but when we got back, we just weren't, I don't know, we hadn't gotten that deep into it. And so we kind of just decided to stay friends. And so for the next probably 2 years, we just stayed friends. We were both going to the same school, and we would like set each other up with roommates. And once a semester, we would like just go out and as friends and kind of catch up. And we just stayed good friends. And then it was his last year of his MBA program, and he knew he was leaving school. And he decided he really wanted to get married and have a family, and he had dated a lot, and he had kind of thought back on all the girls he dated, and he's like, if I could choose any one of the girls that I've dated to like be the mother of my children, it would be Jill.
No way.
And so he started like asking me out that semester, like, and I'm like, what are you doing? We are friends. We are just friends.
That's how the best relationships start.
Well, I know, and I couldn't get past it, and it was a busy semester for me. I was in grad school, and I was stressed and swamped, and my roommates were really good because we could see visitors coming up the stairs to our apartment, and they would warn me, Jill, Bob's coming up the stairs, and I would run to my bedroom, and I would hide in the closet and say, tell him I'm not here, tell him I'm not here. And just because, not that I didn't want to see him, I was just busy, and I didn't have time for friends. And anyway, he didn't stop. He just kept trying and trying. One time we went on a date that semester, and he tried to hold my hand. I'm like, why are you holding my hand? We are just friends. And then, I don't know, he wore me down. But one day I just figured it out. I was just like, oh wait, I actually do like him.
This guy likes you a lot.
Yeah, and I realized I was never more comfortable with anybody else, and we were like really good friends. It just felt really natural and comfortable. So
was there like a particular date you guys went on that made you have that switch of mind, or like a carnivore date, or
it was, he had asked me to pick him up from the airport when we came back from Christmas break. All the students were coming back, and he's like, I'll take you out to dinner if you'll come pick me up from the airport. And so we went out to dinner, I don't even remember where, and he sat me down and he's like, I am ready to commit. And I literally said, to commit to what? There is nothing to commit to. We are just friends. And he's like, nope, I am ready. And I think something about him just saying I'm ready, like I knew he meant it. And I just knew he was a really like loyal, faithful, committed kind of person when he committed to things. And the next weekend I actually had a date with someone else. And I remember he was asking what I was doing. I said, I got a date with someone. And he said, come over to my house before. And I literally got ready for my date at his apartment. Like,
Wow.
I was like, literally, and that's when I realized I would rather be with him than
Wow.
anybody else.
That's
So
cool. To be, in his shoes and be that secure with, that situation and just like that determined and persistent.
right,
That's
right,
cool.
right. And he has been perfectly committed and faithful ever since.
Now, did
And
you
it's
guys have
been
the
a long
same,
time.
not to talk too much about religion, but a religious background?
Yes,
Or, okay.
yeah, we were definitely of the same faith, which made it.
A lot easier.
But honestly, at BYU, everybody is. So
Right.
I had a lot to choose from.
Yeah. A lot of options.
But I knew it wasn't just that he was committed to his faith. I could just see he was like causes that he believed in, he would commit to wholeheartedly. And I knew he would commit to me wholeheartedly.
That is a beautiful
Yeah.
story. That is awesome. Now, did you both want to have like 7 kids out the gate? Or was it like
No.
just sort of happened kind of thing?
No, I didn't even know if I was gonna like having babies. I knew I wanted to be, I liked the idea of being a mother. But honestly, like even one of my roommates said, Jill, I can't imagine you like putting away all your textbooks and like reading Dr. Seuss to a kid. I can't imagine it. And I was like, I can't either. And he came from a huge family. He's one of 10. He's got 8 sisters and 1 brother.
Wow.
So he was used to, I just came from an average sized family and I liked it. But once I got pregnant with my first baby, I knew I would only have 1 because pregnancy was the most horrific. It still is. There is nothing worse than being pregnant to me. But as soon as I had that baby, I just fell in love.
Forgot all about the pain.
I fell in love.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
So,
is.
and it was always like Bob was very respectful because he would never say, oh, let's have another one now. He would always wait for me to say, okay, I think I'm ready. I think I can do it again. Let's go for it. And he'd be like, okay.
Wow. Wow. And was it like each kid a year apart, or was it like not too planned out, or?
No, I already told you I planned everything.
Okay.
It was very planned out. Like, I just waited till I felt like I could, because
Physically, yeah.
pregnancies were really hard on me. I was really, really sick. Like it wasn't just morning sickness for the first 3 months. It was like 9 months of just being sick, really sick. And so I had to plan it, I planned it according to seasons. I liked to do my sickest part when it was in the winter and I could be like, inside with my kids and not feeling like I had to be outside chasing them around all the time while I was feeling sick.
Makes sense.
So most of the kids are less than 2 years apart, actually. There's only 2 of them that are 2.5 years apart. Yeah.
What's your oldest and youngest now?
So the oldest was still 11 when the 7th kid was born.
Oh, wow.
But now my youngest is 15 and my oldest is 27.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm absolutely just inspired by any parent, especially one of 7. Like
It's
that is
fun.
incredible. I think many would agree that having kids is like one of the scariest and hardest jobs.
Terrifying.
You
And
can
if you
do.
wait till you're ready, you will never do it because no one's ever going to be ready. You will never be ready for it.
That's an important piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
How did you overcome, the fear of infinite bad things? You got kidnapping, drugs, car accidents.
I don't know. I haven't overcome it yet. Ask me in 10 or 20 years. I still fear for those things.
goodness.
I drove past a car accident recently and I got home and I called all my kids. I'm like, is everyone okay? Is everyone okay? Like, you always, that's part of being a parent, is you're always going to have a little fear.
You just don't let it stop you.
Right.
You just go for it.
Yep.
Being courageous.
Yep.
That's amazing. Just do it.
Yep.
Just do it. That's awesome. What is your greatest joy of being a parent?
I would say seeing my kids feel proud of themselves or feel good about an accomplishment, like seeing them, not what I think they should be proud of, but when I can truly see like their happiness at who they've become or what they've accomplished, that
Wow.
I would say that's it.
That's beautiful.
When I see them making choices that are really consistent with their beliefs, that's when they're happy and that's when,
Having them feel like they're doing something right.
yeah,
They're growing into
Yeah.
who they want to be.
yeah, exactly.
That is amazing. And you don't have to drop any names, but do you have a favorite?
It's kind of a joke in our family that Caleb is the favorite. Everyone jokes about that. But honestly, my 15-year-old daughter, I would have to, because she's always the one, yeah, she comes to me and says, I am your favorite, Mom, right? I am your favorite. And I always tell her yes. So no, I don't have a favorite. But the family joke is Caleb, who's smack in the middle. But I always tell Jane, the baby, that she's my favorite.
That is amazing. And before we talk about, any more of the volunteer stuff you do, I definitely want to, have you share a little bit more about what motivated you to become a motivator and an inspirator for your job as in the fitness industry. How many years now?
10.
10 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was not into fitness at all before then. But my kids will tell you, I have a sign in our house that says, I can do hard things. And I've kind of just lived by that motto in various aspects of my life, like whether it's raising 7 kids or, eating healthy can be hard. And if you're doing it consistently, and exercising and training can be hard. And I just feel like it's rewarding to see people overcome whatever stands in their way to be able to do whatever hard thing they want to do. And for me, I chose fitness because I just felt like it worked with my family life and schedule, and I really like seeing people who think they can't do it and then they do it.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Doing hard. What was the sign again?
I can do hard things.
I can do hard things. That was like the main thing that really pushed you, like that inspired you.
Yeah, just because. Well, I mean, yeah, I would say so. For this career, after I had my last baby, like literally for 15 years, from 1996 to 2013, let's see, 2011. 1996 to 2011, there was a total of 11 months during that stretch of time where I was not either pregnant and or nursing. So for that many years, I felt like I did not even have my own body, I was always sharing it. And if I wasn't nursing someone or carrying someone, then I was holding someone. And
a lot of responsibility.
My husband came home from work one time and I was pregnant with maybe number 7, I think. And I was so sick. And he said, he walked in the door and I was sitting on the couch and I think I was maybe holding a baby and had another kid sprawled on my lap and had another kid like climbing behind me. And he said, and you were just staring straight ahead, like unfazed, like you didn't even realize that there was like 3 little boys and a girl climbing all over you.
Incredible.
And I think when I had that last baby, I was like, okay, I'm taking my body back. And I am getting myself down to the local YMCA and I am going to reclaim this body that I have basically lent out for the last 15 years. And so that's when and it was hard because I had never been an athlete and never been into fitness. And I just said, I can do hard things. This is hard and I'm going to do it. And I figure if I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm a nobody. I'm just like anybody else. So if I can do it, so can anyone else.
Absolutely. That's very inspiring in and of itself. 7's actually my favorite number. Do you have a favorite number?
No.
No favorite number?
No.
Wow.
I don't.
Okay. There's just 7 was just the.
After I don't know. After I kept going, I was in a groove. But finally, when I hit that 7th pregnancy, I was like, I knew I was done because I needed to focus on the kids I had, and I couldn't check out for 9 months mentally every so often.
Absolutely.
I just needed to take care of what was in front of me, and I just knew I was done.
Absolutely. And then they're all still healthy and active, and that's.
Yep, they're doing well.
The life's greatest gift right there. Is just
I love it.
Best thing ever is family. Now about exercise, do you have a favorite or least favorite exercise?
Oh goodness.
That's a tough one.
Favorite or least favorite exercise?
You can do hard things. Would the challenge of a least favorite exercise be your favorite?
Honestly, sometimes, like I know the common least favorite is Bulgarian split squats, and I like them.
They're fun. They can be fun too.
Yeah, no, I like whatever challenges me. You know, like muscle ups. I can't do a muscle up yet, but
You're doing banded muscle ups.
I can do them with a band.
That's
So,
pretty damn good.
you know, I just like a challenge.
What doesn't challenge you doesn't change you.
Yep.
Bulgarian split squats, do you jump with those or do you just do the
Sometimes,
regular?
not with weights. If I do them without weights, I might jump them, but.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's one where you can do a burpee with it, where you go down
Yeah.
and you switch your feet and
Yeah.
then you come back up. But yeah, those are fun. I like doing those. What's the hardest certification you've gotten? What was like the most challenging to study for?
Probably the certified nutrition coach.
Nutrition.
That was just a lot of information and a lot of science that I haven't taken in a long time. So, and the one that I probably learned the most from, really, I think.
To affect like your personal diet.
Right, like learning what those things do, those foods do in my body, and like I didn't know.
Are you on any type of like vegetarian, vegan, or pescatarian?
No restrictions.
Okay.
I try to eat healthy, and I do. I mean,
no processed food, junk food.
I do love to bake. Now you won't see me out buying candy and cookies and crud like that,
Right.
but when I bake, I will enjoy it.
You can't not bake. Classic. What's your favorite thing to bake? Banana bread?
No, I would probably say I have a really good chocolate chip cookies and really good brownies. But I'd say my favorite thing is cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon rolls, the dough for that, it's very therapeutic to kind of just get in there and knead that dough around.
I have
And
to buy some cinnamon rolls off you one of these days.
oh, I make some dang good cinnamon rolls.
That's actually my favorite pastry.
Oh, really? Okay.
Rolls.
It's a labor of love, but I enjoy it.
And when you make it yourself, too,
Yeah, oh, there's nothing better.
Baking's fun. I love to bake too. And so, nutritionist certification. How many other certifications do you have?
Let's see, personal training, Group X. I've done some other ones in the past, TRX,
Nice.
the Les Mills Core, a bar certification. Yeah,
That's a lot.
but I mostly use my nutrition and my personal training,
Do you
my
have
Group
a
X.
favorite certification to get? Like, was there one that you really enjoyed, like TRX maybe, or like something?
TRX was fun. I don't know, I like them all. Honestly, I like them all.
Do you have a favorite piece of equipment to use?
I would say, like, if I had limited, the landmine is a very underused piece of equipment.
Interesting.
I would say the TRX strap and the landmine are two underused pieces of equipment.
There's a lot you can do with a landmine.
You can do almost, if you have a landmine and a TRX, you can get almost everything.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And for people who don't know what a TRX and landmine are, can you want to explain just a little bit?
Yeah, the TRX are just some suspension straps that hang from the ceiling, and you use your own body weight to control the intensity of the movement. It's mostly for strength training, but we do cardio on it. Landmine is just a barbell that's basically set on the floor, and you lift one end of it. So
That's awesome. That is so cool. Yeah, TRX is actually my favorite piece of equipment, just because of how functional it is.
Right.
How versatile it is. There's hundreds of things
Yeah.
you can do with TRX, and especially if you add a BOSU on there, or
Right.
put a whatever, resistant bands on your ankles,
Yeah.
and then do it. It's so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have any advice to someone who's thinking about maybe pursuing a fitness/health career and they don't know where to start, or they don't know if they have what it takes to kind of do that? Anything that you can kind of say to somebody who's looking into becoming a fitness coach, or?
Yeah, I would say depending on, like for me, I didn't want this to be a career. I wanted this to be something, even when all my kids were in school, I wanted to be free if they had a doctor's appointment in the middle of the day, or if I needed to chaperone a field trip during the school day. I didn't want a full-time career to keep me away from them. I just wanted something that was for me while they were at school. So it depends. If you're just in it for that, my advice would be different than if you wanted to make a career out of it. If you were really looking to make a career, I would say, yeah, then you need to probably go to college and get an exercise science degree, or, go that route, which I didn't do, obviously. And then go on to get some of these other certifications as needed. But like I have a son who's in college right now, and he was interested in some of the stuff I do, and I got him signed up. He's doing a personal training certification right now, so he can have something to do part-time while he's at school. So it just kind of depends on your goal, I think. If you want to really make it a career or more, for me, it's more of a hobby.
But it gave you the freedom and the flexibility.
Yeah. So for someone who needs part-time and some freedom and flexibility, then yeah, start with your personal training cert and go from there. But if you plan to make a career out of it, then you need to get a degree that's, whether it's exercise science or nutrition, wellness, whatever, yeah.
Did you get all your certifications from the same
No.
organization?
No. I did NASM for my PT and my nutrition, but I've gotten the other ones my Group X is through AFA, which is now part of NASM. But.
Okay. Nice. And the nutrition?
That's NASM too.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. That's pretty cool. And then a little bit about your volunteer work. You told me you help refugees from
Afghanistan.
That's something. That's pretty fascinating.
That's been so fun.
Wow.
Really, really, like a great life experience.
How long have you been doing that for?
So I started I don't know if you remember a few years ago when the U.S. pulled out of Afghanistan and there was all the news footage at the airport. Yes. And you could see like women putting their babies up to the U.S. soldiers on the airplane, like take my child. Yes, as they were just in a mad rush to get out of there. So it was that was the summer of 21. And so then the U.S. promised to take care of all these. So these were mostly people who worked for the U.S. Department of State alongside our U.S. military. Some of them were actual soldiers, maybe some were like camp cooks or camp dentists or whatever, but they all worked for our U.S. military over there. And so our government promised to resettle them as refugees. And so different states were the resettlement agencies were asked, how many can you accommodate? How many can you take in? And so here in Worcester, we have some refugee agencies that normally would settle about maybe 30 to 40 refugees a year. And they committed to resettle close to 500 within 3 months with their same staff and funding and everything. So they didn't have the manpower to do this. So the refugee organization kind of contacted some local people through churches and said, who can help us? Who can form what we're going to call a neighborhood support team? Get your friends, form a team, raise some money, and we're going to assign you a refugee family. And they're going to waltz into Massachusetts with nothing but the backpacks on their backs. And you have to find a life for them. So that's what we did.
That's intense. That is intense. You said fun. I was like, that sounds like a lot of work.
Well, it was fun getting to know the people.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like we get into a little bubble here. Like we're friends with people that share our similar backgrounds, similar lifestyles, similar beliefs. And you see it on social media. People can kind of put themselves in an echo chamber and they just gravitate towards people who support and agree with. And sometimes that's great, but sometimes it's good to get to know people who differ from you. Absolutely. And I honestly think, in my experience of helping these people, that there are no two countries in this world that are more polar opposite than Afghanistan and the U.S.
Wow.
And to have to make that leap in culture and everything for these people, and that's what I kept thinking. Most of the families or the kids that I helped are this age of my own kids. And some of them were young married couples with a child or two, or some were 17 and 18-year-olds who came here without their parents. And I just kept thinking of my own kids. What if the roles were reversed? What if this happened to my kids? And they were just dumped in not just a foreign country, but a foreign country that was so opposite to theirs in every way. They didn't speak the language. They didn't have social security numbers. They didn't have education. They didn't have anything. They're just plopped there. I was like, please, I would hope someone would take care of my kids, you know?
Seriously.
And so that's kind of how I looked at it, as like, these people need a friend here. They have maybe some refugee friends, like people that are Afghan or Muslim that they could, you know, maybe connect with. But I felt like it was so important that they have someone who understands how America works.
Absolutely.
To kind of be on their side and make them. So for a lot of the volunteers, it was like, just like, let me sign you up for Mass Health and I'm done with you. Let me sign you up for SNAP and I'm done with you. But for me, I really felt like they needed a friend. They needed someone they could call or text and say, now what do I do? Now, like, and so that's...
Where's the library? Where's this? Where's that?
Right, like, and I learned a lot. Like, I had no idea how to work the Worcester bus system, but I had to teach people how to ride the bus. So I'm there riding the bus with them, right? Like, trying to figure it out. It's like the blind leading the blind. I don't know how to sign up for food stamps or Mass Health, you know, things like that. But like, we registered kids for school. I helped so many refugees like apply for jobs and get apartments. And the main role that I took on was driving. They all needed driver's licenses. They all wanted cars so that they could have, which I could really see how that sense of freedom that you get from having a car,
Absolutely.
just what that does for a person. And so I learned a lot of their language. Like, I could say left, right, straight, you know, backward, forward. I could learn all those things.
Right in Afghan?
Chop and rast.
Oh,
Rast,
cool.
chop, mustaqim.
That's awesome. Is the language, I'm so ignorant, Afghan? What's the language?
It's, most of them
Arabic?
speak either Dari or Pashto. It's similar to Arabic,
Okay.
but not. It's not Arabic.
There's like different sects in that.
Yeah. So I learned just a little bit of it. But so I would take them driving and then go sponsor them to get their driver's license and you name it. There was one woman who was pregnant and ready to have a baby, and I said, I'll watch your other kids while you go to the hospital. And she said, no, you will come to the hospital with me, because my husband doesn't, she knew her husband couldn't advocate for her at the hospital because he didn't speak English. And she knew that I could, like, and so I went and I was her support person at the hospital. Her husband stayed with the kids.
Wow.
And the doctor had me cut the umbilical cord and everything.
Okay, that's
Yep.
fun.
It was.
Sounds fun.
It was pretty cool.
Wow.
And I did think it was funny. Her doctor thought he was such hot stuff. He was this young, athletic guy, and he was putting on his little protective booties, you know, standing up to do it. And the nurse was like, you're gonna fall standing on one foot doing this. And he's like, no, I'm not, watch this. And he sinks a pistol squat. And I'm like, oh, that's nothing, I can do that. So I did one. He's like, what? He's like, can you do one on your left leg though? I'm like, yep. And I did one on my left. Anyway, it was fun showing up the doctor.
That's awesome.
But anyway, back to the refugees. Yes, like they come to my house. Sometimes couples will drop their little kids off while they go do whatever, or I've got some young adult kids that come over and play volleyball. Like, I just felt like they needed
A community.
a community, yes, exactly, which they kind of have since there's so many of them that came here. But I just felt like an American friend, kind of a man on the inside, sort of,
Yeah.
I feel like was helpful. And so
How'd your kids react to all of that?
that's a really good question. Because,
Mixed feelings, maybe?
oh, not even mixed. They did not, I mean, mixed, yes. My family didn't embrace it the way I did. And they kind of looked at it as us and them. Like, mom's going with them. Mom's gonna go help them. And I wanted it to be us. Like, let's invite them in to be with us. And they're still very...
I could see why, you know, the 7 kids always competing for mom's attention, and like now she's trying to take care of other kids.
Yeah. And I think it came at a time, like my youngest was 11 or 12. So my kids are like most of my kids had moved. I think I still only had 3 left at home. So 4 of them had moved on. my 12, 15, and 17-year-olds were pretty self-sufficient. I had time to do this. They didn't need me 24/7. And I wondered if they kind of felt like, wow, as soon as we became less needy, mom just found some other people who needed her, which is something that I have. I like to feel needed. And I think they could see that.
I think everyone wants to feel a little useful
Right.
in some way.
Right.
Absolutely.
But I think some of us, like to me, I almost felt like this need to learn about their culture and help them feel like respected. And, you know, my kids didn't see it so much that way. And my husband, it was like, well, just make sure they have a roof over their heads, make sure they have a job, like, and then let them, you know. And to me, I felt like, no, I want to almost like feel like there's a two-way relationship here. And I think my family just kind of thought, Mom, go take care of them, set them up, and move on.
Get them out of here.
Yeah. So there was a little bit of tension here and there. In the beginning, more so because they were so needy. Now it's been 3 years. They're pretty set. They don't need me for much at all. They'll still text and call like, oh, I'm registering for college. Can you help me with this?
Awesome.
Or I bought a new car. How can you help me get insurance? You know, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's not like we have no food. Can you help us? Or, you know, we can't pay our rent. Can you help? It's not like that anymore.
I almost forgot to ask you, what did your husband do for it?
So who knows?
That's a hilarious answer.
Oh, I don't know. He came out here to work for Intel on the business side of things. Then he went to Cisco, which is, you know, tech, but on the business side. Now he works for a company called Mimecast, which is tech, but he's on the, so he's
Tech industry.
but business side.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah, I don't know.
Place to place.
I don't know what he really does. He's a senior director of something business-like.
Something business-like. That's hilarious. That's so funny. Oh man. But that's a perfect segue into my next question of like so many people nowadays especially have a negative perspective or outlook when it comes to refugees and immigrants. And what do you say to all the backlash? Like, I'm sure you received some of it, of like, you know,
Yeah. Oh,
support them, like get them out of our country. Like,
I've had people when I've been like saying, hey, anyone who wants to donate, I've had people come to me and say no, because they're probably here under the government, and because the government's going to use them and blah, 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 they're going to end up blowing up our I'm like, oh my gosh, people are people. I just feel like every person is a unique person. And just because someone is from a certain country or is a certain color or whatever, they're still themselves.
It's not like our country was founded on immigration and
Right. I just feel like look at the person first, not
their country.
like you're Jacob. You're not necessarily your nationality or your citizenry or what, like
my
you're
color, whatever.
right.
Yeah.
You're Jacob. Like
We're all human beings at the end of the day.
right. And even I know in Afghanistan it's a very homogenous, like it's the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan. They are all very Muslim.
Is your adult age 13? Was it like they can legally drink in?
I don't know, but I think in Iran, which is mostly Muslim, I read recently that I don't know. I won't quote them, but yes, but Muslims technically aren't supposed to drink.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They technically aren't. But even though they're very homogenous, there's no way you can say all Muslims are X or all Muslims are Y. Like they're so different.
It's a big group of people.
Yeah, they're so unique and different. And I've met the sweetest, kindest people and some who aren't so sweet and kind, but that's like it is here. And so I don't like the way that you can just say immigrants do this, immigrants do that. No, they're individual people and they have different personalities, and I don't know. I just see them as individuals.
I definitely don't want to get too political here. I am not a political person. Personally, you might disagree with this. I don't even vote.
No, that's fine.
I don't like the system.
I have no problem. Yeah.
I just stay away
I
from
respect
it.
that.
I find so much joy with not focusing on the
Awesome.
politics. But
what do you feel on the policy of immigration? Like open borders, no open borders? Somewhere on the fence of that? Like,
I mean, I feel like we need borders, and I'm all for legislation to cut down on illegal immigration. I just feel like if we want to let people into our country in a legal way, great, let's have a system for that, and let's cut down on all the illegal stuff. But I feel like there should be a good legal way to get in here for people who go through the right channels and the right vetting processes. And these people that came from Afghanistan, they spent months on military bases in Qatar and Germany, here, like getting vetted and background checks and medical, like it was
process,
right.
just like bring 'em
It
up.
wasn't just a criminal trying to sneak over a border. And I just feel like the way things are right now, we're just kind of that othering category. We're putting all immigrants, whether they're refugees, illegal aliens, like all in one big clump. And I feel like, no, that's not the case.
Yeah,
Like,
somewhere, like, I don't know, again, terrible paraphrasing stuff. Who knows what's real on the internet? But this couple that lived here for 35 years just got deported. It's like,
come
what are we
on,
doing?
come
Like,
on.
what are we doing?
Or like, wasn't there some kidney transplant doctor specialist at Brown University? Like, with a green card, perfectly, like, he's a doctor, he saves lives, he's gone. Like, I just think that's wrong.
It's ridiculous.
Now, if you're gonna go find a criminal, an illegal immigrant who's committed 3 felonies in the States, okay. If you want to deport someone, fine, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Deport the criminals.
Right.
But just this mass sweep, like, just basically this idea of saying that all immigrants are a problem,
It's ridiculous.
it's
This is what
out
makes
of
this country
control.
great, the diversity. It's like we don't
Absolutely.
want to be an echo chamber. We don't want to just have this narrow-minded worldview of America's supposed to be this melting pot of ideas.
Right, and I just feel like we need to be humble enough to acknowledge that even though we think we're the greatest nation on the earth, maybe we are,
Greatest incarcerations.
but maybe we can learn some things from other people too. And I just think we've lost that. We've just said they're all bad and they all need to go. And I just think, no, it's not even that they're all anything. They're unique individuals. If someone just said all Americans are this or that, no, we're all different.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate, the extreme
Yeah,
biases.
yeah,
People love their stereotypes.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, there's some truth to certain stereotypes, right? But it's like you can't. Looks can be so deceiving. You can't judge a book by its cover. All those cliches, you know. It's
Yep.
people miss out on so much friendship and so much beauty and love and joy because they just cut their hearts off from a whole group of people.
Right, and I've learned some really good things from these people. I remember one time, there's these 3 brothers, young, like high school, young college age, and when they came, and they all wanted to get driver's licenses. And I was trying to teach them how to go online to the RMV and make appointments to apply for permits. And with their bad English, anyway, and so we would text over a translator app.
Oh, nice.
Which sometimes messes things up and it changes the language a little
Slightly,
bit
it's not
funny.
perfect.
And I had texted them, try to get appointments for all 3 of you at the same time so I can just come once and help all 3 of you instead of going to the stupid RMV 3 different times. And there's no way he could do this. He was trying. Anyway, I got this text back through the translator app and it said, they call me Mom. He said, well, Mom, the good news is I'm trying. And I read that and I was just like,
That is so
you know what?
beautiful.
I have used that so many times. Like, I'll be saying my prayers at night and like, God, the good news is I'm trying. I'm not doing great, but I'm trying. Sometimes with my kids, when I'm messing things up, I'm like, you guys, the good news is I am trying to be a good mom. And I just, little things like that I've just learned through this process, you know, like, I don't know. That's why I say it's been fun. Challenging, one of the hardest things I've done, but fun.
I think that's almost like a sign, like the fact that he said that and you use that same thing in your
Right.
prayers.
When I read that, I was like, isn't that what this whole world is about? Like, we're all just here trying.
That
Like,
just warms my heart.
give each other grace and just, and as soon as he said that, I was like, you know what? I know he can't do it, and I'm going to do it for him. And I don't care because I don't know.
It just gives us to remind you, like, no one's perfect. We're all struggling with something.
Right.
Like,
So let's ease up on everybody.
the amount of hate in this world is
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Another perfect segue into my next, being a Tesla owner. How do you, I'm sure you get even more hate nowadays.
I didn't know it would be like that. I had someone here at the Y who I hardly even know, just a member that I see once in a while. I didn't even know she knew what kind of car I drove. And she said, so has your car been keyed? I'm like, first of all, how do you know what car I drive? And why would someone key it? I'm like, ugh. Like, no, nobody's keyed my car. Plus, I have Sentry mode, so if they key my car, I will be able to see who it is.
They're actually now cracking down. They since all the cameras on, people don't know Teslas have cameras apparently, and like a lot of people are keying their cars and like they post the footage online and people hunt them down. Like police get involved and they arrest people and like they burnt the Tesla charging stations down in Middleton, Massachusetts.
I heard that.
Pretty sure they caught the guy and they're sentencing him to 20 years in prison.
I just feel like, some of us bought these Teslas. Like, I bought mine 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago. Like, that was before.
All this craziness.
I don't want to alienate anyone by saying what I think about this craziness. But yes, we'll call it the craziness.
And your opinion's very important. There's 7 billion people in this world. No, we're not all gonna get along, right?
Yeah.
But your opinion is definitely gonna, help other people who feel the same way about it as you do.
It's a good car.
It is. It really is. And like, who cares? No one knows the CEO of Ford. No one knows the CEO of Toyota. I doubt anyone can name them. I'm sure they're doing shady stuff too. Like,
Right. And I don't agree with what Elon Musk is doing. I don't agree with a lot of what Trump is doing. But I do like my car.
Why can't it just be that simple? Why do you have to be involved in this whole thing? It's like, it's a vehicle to get you to point A to point B.
Yeah.
That's all it has to be. It doesn't have to be a symbol for whatever they're... He didn't even create Tesla. He just is a CEO who managed to work his way in.
And I heard there's some bumper sticker you can get that says I bought this before Elon went crazy.
Yeah, that's a funny one.
But I almost feel like that draws more attention to it. Just let me drive my car, you drive yours, and...
What a world we live in. What a world we live in. So I got a few more questions if we still have time. This little word segment I do with all my interviews. I have this, 7 words I have.
Okay.
Number 7. And just give me 2 to 3 sentences or more if you'd like. No limit on how, any initial thoughts or how you want to define it or how it makes you feel.
Okay.
Anything at all about this word in particular.
Okay.
All right. And so I got some heavy hitters here.
Okay.
The first word is freedom.
Okay, I just think of like the freedom to be who I want to be, who I think the best version of me. I want to have the freedom to do that.
Not who society wants you to be, not who parents might want you to be.
Who I know I'm capable, the very best I'm capable of being. I want the freedom to be able to do that.
How do you discover that? How do you discover who you want to be? Trying new things?
I think sometimes it's through some faith, like whatever you believe in, and it's just really coming to understand like what rings true to you and be honest to that, I guess. Like if you really believe in putting love out there, but then you find yourself doing little things that don't match up with that. But yes, freedom, and I feel like I do have the freedom to be who I want to be, but I think there's people in America who don't.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tons. Most, maybe.
Yeah.
What rings true? That resonated with me. Almost like follow your heart.
Yeah.
Listen to
deep down. Yeah.
It's hard to listen to it, and the more you ignore it, the harder it is to listen to that voice.
Right, and I think we can sometimes pretend we kid ourselves a little bit. Like when I'm making a choice, am I doing this for a right reason? Am I doing this because I want others to see me? Am I doing this
To fit in.
like right? Or am I doing it because it's the right thing to do, you know?
Yeah, that's very huge. That is amazing. And again, like freedom is one of those things that's different in everyone's mind. Like freedom of what? Freedom for what? Like, but just to be who you want to be.
Right.
Taking the liberty to grow, and everyone can do infinite different things. And it's like you could have gone to be a history professor, like you
Yeah.
wanted to be a mother, and you had that freedom.
And I think it's respecting other people's rights to do things like drive Teslas, you know? Like or respecting other people's rights to be different because yeah, so hopefully we have the freedom to be who we want to be without other people
impinging on that
yeah,
freedom.
yeah.
Evil or
Yeah.
malice intentions.
Yeah.
Or not.
And I'm going to allow you the freedom to do something that maybe I don't even agree with, but
As
if
long
I
as
want
it's
the
not for other
freedom,
people,
yeah,
do
right,
what you want to do.
yeah,
Even if you don't agree with it, it's a different culture.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be in a free country where you can do what you want
Yeah.
to do if you're not hurting anybody else.
within certain parameters, yeah.
Exactly. You know, yeah, we could leave it with that.
Yeah.
But that actually perfect segue. You said respect. That's my next word. Respect is a big one. What does that mean? What is initial thoughts?
I would say one thought on respect is just part of it is realizing that you don't have all the, not you, but one,
Right.
you don't have all the
I
answers.
mean, I don't either.
Well, yeah, nor do I, but I just mean respecting people can just sometimes mean recognizing that they have something to offer. Even if you think you're in a place of superiority, like recognizing that you don't have all the answers. You are not him. You are not all that.
I love it. I love that.
Like, there's always something to learn from someone else, so treat them that way.
Absolutely, and that's so amazing. That you don't have all the answers thing. I never even put that together with the respect. There's mainly two camps when people say respect. I either hear people are like, respect everybody no matter what. Everyone deserves respect. And then people are like, respect is earned. You
Yes,
can't respect everybody.
you're right, you're right.
So what are you, like, what are you leaning towards? Are you like, you gotta earn
I
it?
guess I can see some of both. But no, I don't think I could say just one or the other. Because there are people who have earned my respect. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't respect just the person walking down the street that I don't know, because they're just a person I don't know yet, and maybe I would respect them and absolutely should respect them because, so yes, I don't know if I could choose between those two.
Not to take away from your interview, but to share like my
Yeah.
look on this word. I look at the Latin root. I love studying history
Yeah.
of words, etymology.
Awesome. Yeah.
And Latin to turn back.
Back.
And spect, like spectacle.
Look.
To look. You're re-looking. You're not looking at someone face value. You're not judging a book by its cover. You're, despite they drive a Tesla and they look like this and they have this skin color and this and that.
You're
and the
taking
third,
another look.
You're taking another
Yeah.
look. And so if you re-look at somebody and you
Interesting.
then realize they are a terrible person, you don't have to continue to respect them. They've lost
Okay.
your respect.
But you have to give them the
You have to give
initial.
them the initial respect.
I love it.
You respect everybody, but you don't, once you realize, oh, this person's a terrible human being, I'm not going to continue to re-look into them and draw his negativity into my being.
Yeah.
I keep respecting this person who's hurting so many other people.
Okay.
So that's
Yes,
how I see the
that's
word respect.
perfect. Because not everybody does deserve your respect if they've
Exactly.
treated you like crap.
Exactly.
But yeah, okay.
Initially, maybe. But
Yes.
then, again, it goes back to,
You got to be
freedom.
smart. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the next word, something, every mother needs, responsibility.
What would be my sentence on that? Responsibility. I would probably say,
Could be 2-3 sentences. Doesn't have to be
yeah. I would say everybody needs some.
Yeah.
I would say I think
Something that's lacking.
we're kind of living more in an era where we're shirking that, not shirking it, but we're just not wanting to take it on.
Or maybe
We're more careful about setting up boundaries that put us in a position of responsibility because we're not sure if we want to take that on. And I see that like a little bit with even my own kids. Like I don't want to commit and have that responsibility. But honestly, I think having responsibility is what makes you grow up.
It makes you free.
Yeah, it does. It does. It gives you some freedom and it helps you grow up. So it's a good thing, even if it's sometimes not fun.
A lot of people might see it as being too hard, and they want to just be more dependent.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I definitely kind of equate responsibility with a sense of independency.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, your kids, maybe not wanting that independency yet, or like, your younger ones or whatever. It's a tough one. It's a tough one to take on that. Again, courage and have that ability to.
Yeah, but it builds confidence when you do it.
Absolutely.
And helps you grow up.
Beautiful. I always also look at the wordplay. It's your ability to respond to any situation.
Yeah.
You're a responsible person.
Yeah.
You can respond. You know CPR. You're very responsible. You can
True.
respond to someone who needs your help.
Yeah.
And, someone.
It's empowering.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's beautiful. This one should be your favorite. It's family.
Ah, that is
What
my
does that mean
favorite.
to you?
That means everything. Really, that's what it comes down to for me is family.
Life is all about.
And that's the thing I love about my husband is he's 100% committed to our family. I really think that I have a quote in my house. I like quotes. I like words
too. Let's go. Let's go.
It's an Emily Dickinson quote.
That's a poet, right?
Yeah, she's a poet.
Massachusetts. Or no?
Yeah, I think she is.
Maybe.
But she has a poem where she talks about the power that is in a family. Like there is power in raising a family. And I feel like there's power, not power like in a parent who raised, but like there's a power that comes from a good, committed family. Like I just feel like you empower the kids. It's just a place of power. The family is a place of power. I really think it is.
That is very beautiful. Would you consider those refugees family?
Yeah, and I don't think family is just in your four walls necessarily. I think you can develop a sense of family
Maybe with everyone.
Anywhere.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're a religious person and you believe in God and you think that the human race is a family.
I'm on that boat.
I mean, I kind of look at it that way. Like to me, when I say
It makes being kind a lot easier.
Yeah, like we're all in this together, and I just think the whole idea of a family is building each other up and nurturing. That's what a family is about, is nurturing and building each other up. And if we all did that instead of all this crap of tearing people down, can you imagine? That's what would make America great.
Yeah,
That's what make the world great.
Absolutely.
Yes. Just
vision.
nurture and build up. That's what family is to me.
That is so beautiful and inspiring. Maybe one day I'll have the courage to start a family of my own. But it's scary.
It
Especially
is.
in this world.
It
All the
is.
hate and
I'm not arguing that one.
Jesus.
Yep.
But I got 3 more words for
Okay.
you. And the next one's truth.
Truth. That's a tricky one.
Yeah, it is.
You know, for some of us, which I do believe in absolute truth, and I think we can go so, like, you know, how I talked about what rings true to you, I think we can take that to an extreme. And you can use it as an excuse, like, well, it rings true to me to, you know, fill in the blank, do something that's actually not that nice.
Right.
But claim that you do it because it rings true to you, you know?
I hate the world, so I'm gonna lash out and litter and, you know, frack and fig oil,
Right.
whatever.
Right, because there's, you know, speak my truth
Money's
or
my
whatever.
truth. Like,
Yeah.
worship money and
Right. I don't buy into that. But I think if people did the honest work of really looking inside and I think it takes, whether it's prayer or meditation it's hard work to look at your heart and recognize what needs changing,
Probably the hardest thing anyone can ever do.
and then change it. Because we all just want to see what the good stuff in here, so we don't have to change anything. If we can just convince ourselves that our hearts are perfect,
You're perfect just the way you are.
right, then we can kick back and do nothing. And that's not what's going to help, right? I think it's really, like, truth is really looking inside and saying, what is good in here and what needs work, and recognizing and doing the work to change it. That's truth.
That is
to
so
me.
profound. More profound than, you know, a lot of people might realize, but that is like the truth shining the light on, like, not just the good, the truth that's good in you, but the truth that's not so good. The flaws and, you know, the character defects
And not hating yourself because of them, but just saying, you know what, I recognize that maybe I was doing this for this reason that just doesn't fit with who I want to be. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be like that. I'm going to change it. And maybe it takes therapy. Maybe it takes, I don't know what all. It's, for me, it's taking prayer, meditation, therapy, all of it, you know?
a lot of things at once.
To recognize what I'm doing.
Healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, that maybe just isn't showing up fairly for the people I love and being willing to work on it.
Honesty is the best policy.
Yep, always.
And I said this word too many times going through this list, but the next word's courage. Courage. That's what it takes to recognize that truth.
Yeah, it does, because it's scary. That's really scary, to be able to acknowledge things that you have to change. Courage, yeah. I think that's another thing with courage, I think, is courage to be able to, especially in a relationship, whether it's with a significant other, a family member, a friend, the courage to own yourself and make space for someone who is, like, the courage to disagree in a great way. Like, you know, to be able to hold space for both viewpoints, but have the courage to still hold your own. I think in a relationship, especially whether you're dating someone or married to someone, you can kind of feel like, well, we have to agree on everything, or I have to fold into the other person to belong.
One-sided relationship.
And I think it takes courage to belong to yourself and to belong to someone else, whether that's an individual or a community or a group or a family. Like, courage to be you, and courage to do what it takes to also belong.
That's hard.
It's
easier said than done.
It is hard. That's something I've been working on, because I tend to just say, I want to be part of this family or this marriage or this church. And even though I think a little bit different, I'm going to hide those differences so that I belong and think like the group. And I'm learning more and more, nope, it's okay to believe different. Even with my husband and I can see it one way, you can see it, and we figure out how to make space for each other to be our individual selves and be a couple. That takes courage.
I can do hard things.
Yep.
Is there, like, something that helps you be more courageous, like a mantra or like a...
I mean, maybe that one, I can do hard things. Prayer works for me because I am religious, but, you know, maybe not for everyone. But yeah, I can do hard things. Hugs help.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I'm doing a big hike, I say, I can, I will, I must. Going up the mountain.
Good for you. That's
And
awesome.
I am determined. Just like positive affirmations.
Yeah.
You know, you keep telling yourself, I can't. It's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Of course you can.
Oh yeah. Oh
And,
yeah.
like, if you keep telling yourself you can, cure cancer, end world hunger, like whatever it is, like you might not be able to do those things, but saying that you can is going to lead you down a lot more positive and productive path. And who knows, you might get the snowball rolling
Yeah.
for someone else to pick up where
Right.
you left off.
Absolutely.
That's
Good.
beautiful. One more word.
Okay.
Biggest one of them all. Love.
Ah, the best. I was looking at your shoes. I love your
Thank you
shoes.
so much. It's my religion. It's who
It's the best.
Who I believe in.
Okay, so I actually think the same thing, and I've been actually doing some research on it. Just because I am religious, you know, I wanted to go through the Bible and even some other
Absolutely. Religious texts. Quran. There's plenty others.
And just look at how many references. So whether you're a Jesus believer or not, but basically how many times he or other people have said that above all is love, like faith, hope, charity, but the greatest of these is charity. Or, but if you do all these things and yet you don't have love, you are nothing. Like those kinds of statements where, yeah, it's great to have this, this, and this, but really it's all about, and that I've been coming more and more to whatever religion you are or not, any religion, it does. It's really about love.
It's a labor of love.
That's all that matters in the end, is I think how we treat our fellow human beings and ourselves, and that's it.
And I like to try to think, you know, Jesus could have been real. I don't think it matters though whether he was real or he wasn't real. The message is what matters. And I like to do like little decodings of the Bible, and one of the things that really like opened my eyes is like replacing the word Jesus with truth. Like truth is the way, truth is the light.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, if you
That's a
think of,
great
like,
idea.
the ultimate truth being love, of like,
It is. It absolutely is. And I just think that I think there's something we're going to learn about love eventually. I don't know.
fingers crossed.
Yeah, I just think we're going to come to realize that it is and was and always has been the key to everything, whatever everything is. I don't know anything about the afterlife, but I really am convinced that when we all get there, it's going to be like, oh yeah, it was all about love. Okay.
Oh man, I should have been a little bit more kind and loving.
Yeah, I really think that will be in fact, I remember someone telling me one time, in high school, I wasn't super, like into all the clubs, and like I kind of kept to myself and did my work, and someone said, you're going to regret that. You're going to regret getting through high school and not having been more, and I never once have regretted that. But the one thing I regret is, and not just in high school, but the only thing maybe I regret is just times where I could have shown love to someone and I didn't. Wow. You know, times where I kept to myself.
Maybe didn't stand up for someone.
Yes, and didn't reach out to someone who needed it. That's the only thing I regret. I don't regret not being in stupid clubs or sports or whatever, being homecoming this or whatever. Like, I just wish I had reached out to people. I didn't have the confidence back then, and I'm getting it better at it now. And
wish you loved more.
Yeah, I think that's all we'll end up regretting. We're not going to regret like lack of money or anything else. Just the love we didn't share. So let's share it all.
Talk about the biggest tragedy, love we didn't share. And
Yeah.
I think we could all share more love. Like, it's not easy, especially with so much hate seemingly on the news and on.
I know.
But like, you scroll out of that, you put the phone, social media down, and you just smile more, and you give more.
You're so good at that. I really think you are. Like you kind of exude that just in your person.
Absolutely. I think that's what it all comes. I was fortunate enough to learn that very young.
That's like, awesome.
Just not having the most loving family, not having, you know, they say it, but their actions do other things. And
yes.
Like, you know, it's like, I searched so long for love. Like, what is love? Like, what is it? Like, you know, is it just God? Is it just truth? Is it an action? You know, is love, you know, an object you could hold? Like, what is it? And so I was like, you know, looking at so many poems about love and just like trying to seek it. And I'm still on this journey to.
Oh, well, you always will be, but you're always increasing your capacity to love as you do it. So,
Absolutely.
And for the record, not trying to push anything, but because of that, if you ever decided to be a dad someday, you would be an awesome one.
Thank you.
Your kids will know that you love them. They will learn from
I
it.
hope I would be.
Not trying to pressure.
No pressure, though. I appreciate it. I haven't had anything motivates me more. But yeah, that's all the questions I had for you.
All right.
Was there a favorite quote you wanted to share, or like one last thing you wanted to leave the world? One last message?
No, I think you hit it with that last one. It's love. It really is. Like, let's just all give each other a little bit more grace and love each other.
Love is all you need.
Yep.
Let's go. Jill, Andros, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
That was
for coming
fun.
out and doing this.
Thanks for having me. It was a good time.
That's a wrap.
All
Take
right.
care, y'all.
That was kind of fun.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I like the way you think.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to episode 4 of the Care2Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, consider leaving a like, commenting down below, a question or suggestion, as well as sharing this video with any loved ones, friends, or family. It really does help get the message out to those who really need to hear it. And as always, I'd like to end this video off with a little quote, if you will, from Emily Dickinson. Unabled are the loved to die, for love is immortal. Thank you guys so much, and as always, take care.